All right, hello everyone. This is Josh, also known as Yashu. You're just tuning into another episode of TLOY Talks podcast. You can get this on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Patreon, and much more too. Like with Patreon, we do have like a lot of tiers for like a lot of like perks. The most part too, like highest tier, you're gonna get like the highest amount of perks and all that. Like basic tier, basic perks and all that. But definitely check it out. Definitely check out like all like the other remaining content too. Like new episodes like dropping like every other day too. So stay tuned in, turn on your notifications, and yeah, we're definitely get it like started right here. So he just recently released like a new project. Got away with dying with NLCK and all that. We had him on the podcast via Zoom back in like 2022, where
Back in the
like
days.
showcase like like his story, his origins, like how he got into music too, running a studio and much more too. And now in 2025, like 3 years like after, has been growing, elevating, doing like a lot of things, working with Ghostboyrj, Chemist, and much more too. So we have Dexray back.
Hey,
Dexray,
happy
welcome
to
back,
be
man.
here. Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Like I remember, I was about to say that it's been like 3 years since like we like last did this and all
Yeah.
that too, and like last time that was like via Zoom, and originally it was supposed to be like we were supposed to like shoot it at a location somewhere too, but I think it was just like timing and everything else too, and
Yeah, the
then
timing wasn't there, but I
yeah,
appreciated the opportunity nonetheless,
yeah, yeah, and like from that, we interacted like a lot more too. I got to know like more of your people too from like Studio 145 and all that too. I've seen you
Shout
at
out
like
145.
I've seen you at like various events like all over the city. Like the last time we linked up was actually at the Chemist like show at like Massey Hall and all that too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
at
I
I think
remember
the
that.
TD like music hall thing too, and like you were like doing your thing and all that, and like it led to you collaborating with him and all that like on some music, and it's a lot for the growth and all that.
Yeah,
So
100%. 100. It's been an interesting last couple of years to say the least. It's
yeah,
definitely some ups, definitely some downs,
yeah, man.
definitely some downs. But I think when you get past that, when you get to the other side of I guess going through stuff, you end up being better. So I guess I'm grateful. You know.
No, that's facts, man. Because like a lot has like changed, like musically and all that too. I think like a lot of the music, like it's more shown in a creative, like light, like in a way too. Like when I hear like Smoke and all that, when I hear like
Yeah.
Be Somebody, like even like with like No Shade, Too Late for Me, and even like with I Got Away with Dying, which I think it's like one of your more like vulnerable like projects too, where you opened up like on a lot of stuff too. So it has been like interesting to see like in that way too. So do you feel like it changed a lot, like in terms of like the journey, like in that way?
I think for me it was really just trying to put the journey in a perspective that's like consumable to people in a way that they end up leaving with something, but at the same time they're getting to have an experience. And I didn't want to. I think part of the issue with me trying to make the project was I didn't know how to best get it out. Like I had a lot of records recorded for it, and those said records are probably going to come out at some point this year. But I really just wanted to take this time to make that project, and present it as more of like a fresh start. A lot of the records that I put out beforehand, they're not really in the same vein. It was I had like some like Wicked, for example, was more in line with a Trippy Red type of style, and then Gut Feeling was something like that. Gut Feeling was very vulnerable for me, and I wanted to have a happy medium. I kind of wanted to say, hey, look, this is kind of like the pivot project where the sound from the last mixtape that I did, I'm completely doing away with that and moving into something that I'm a little more comfortable with.
Yeah, no, that's facts,
Yeah.
man. Because I know you've worked with like NLCK on the second project too. I'm saying his name correct, right?
I think that's what he goes by. Shout outs to Nick. Shout outs to Nick. That's my guy. He does spell it NLCK. I
Yeah.
call him Nickel, but like I think that's what he goes by. But he's gonna see it and correct me anyways. But shout outs to that man. He's dope.
Yeah, no, that's facts. Man, because like I think with the creative process and inspiration, was there something that you wanted to like go for like within that direction?
So this project, I can't remember if it was this project or it was a project from like 2 years ago. I was so high, like for days, and I just went into the booth. I think I recorded the project in a total like maybe like 3-4 days, maybe the span of a week. Just going in, recording a bunch of stuff, keeping gems, getting rid of stuff, and I just wanted to just rap I just wanted to rap. It wasn't even. I know. I know we say vulnerable. I was just trying to get like as much out of my head as possible. And I think that's why I was so vulnerable, because I didn't really care about what I was saying. I just needed to get stuff off my chest. And I think that in doing so, the rebirth is what comes after this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And as far as like the traction that came with it too, like when like people like heard it like for the first time and all that too, like what were like their like initial reactions like when they heard that, and like what did they like say, like just to say like on how they viewed like this like project and all that, you know?
No skips. That's what I kept getting. I kept getting no skips. The biggest complaint was it was too short, because it's like 8 records. People are gonna get upset because I'm the whole from now till I think I'll save that. But yeah, it was because it was short, and so I'm taking that into consideration for the next projects. Definitely gonna try and add a little bit more, but I personally liked the amount of records I put onto it. I feel like it was enough.
Yeah, because I feel like with most projects too, like you don't need like way too many songs.
Nah, you don't.
Because like you've seen like the whole like deluxe projects where they add like 12 different songs for deluxe while they already had like 15 and all that too, and like it kind of gets like played out too. And I think it's like just COVID times too. They wanted to make more money and all that too, but like I think now it's like everyone's like more comfortable like in releasing like more shorter projects, like more EPs and all that. And
well, I think it's part of. I think streaming forced the second age of the mixtape. Because what you did with streaming is like the differentiation between like an album and a mixtape was, one, you weren't gonna get sued for the album, right? If you put it out properly. Yeah. But streaming completely blurred the lines between the two. And so even for example, let's say, and I pay my producers, let's say I just take a bunch of songs, no clearance, all of it sampled to shit, I don't have any rights to any of it, and I put it out on Spotify. I'm getting traction for at least maybe like half a M in streams. That's when they're gonna start like, all right, we gotta. By that point, you already heard the record, so I'm good. But I think what streaming did was it ushered in the second wave, I think, of mixtapes, because people don't consume. Well, to preface that, streaming, I think, changed the consumer's habits, right? And I think a part of that change was how people consume albums. They don't really listen to albums top to back anymore, like top to bottom. It's probably either on shuffle or you get introduced to people through playlists. So for me, it's I don't even think it's about the project anymore. I think it's about creating vibes in different ways for people to engage with. I think like albums originally were a personally curated vibe that an artist had created for themselves, but as we've seen in streaming, it's really just more. It's more about having the vibe accessible wherever, whenever, and I think part of that changes, or I think all of it actually changes how you make music. So it's like I wanted to put out a single a month. Now I'm like, all right, I'm putting out a mixtape a month. I'm putting out like from now, this month too, I got a project dropping. Shout out Ghostboyrj. I'm not giving the title of the project yet, but you know, we got some heaters on it. But the point I'm making is that because we're basically seeing, because of how streaming has changed how people consume music. You can put a single out, you can put a project out, but the point being is they're gonna be consuming it in a way that you don't really intend, and so the art changes because of it.
Yeah, no, that's facts. Because I remember, I think Cameron did this like back in like 2014 or 2015 with a lot of his like EPs with like A-Track and all that. I remember, I think Griselda like had a lot of like interesting like release times too, like when it came to like releasing projects, like Supreme, like Blind Cell and all that, and like even like Hitler, like whereas like Hermes and all that too, where I think it was like more within like a 6-month period, like when those like were like released and all that too. And then I think it like depends on like more of the outcome, and I think more of the reception to it, like if they want more of it or if they don't want it like for a while and all of it. And like it all depends on like how like the listener feels, because now they have to be oriented to like the song like maybe like every 1 month or so and all that, until they get bored and want to like listen to like new music and
well,
all
I mean, like I feel like people go through music so quickly now. I don't think people are singing with anything. So I think part of why playlists are so successful is that I can make a playlist, put all of the best songs that I have plus a couple other songs of people I fuck with that all sit within the same genre in a playlist. And if I have possession of that, I can see how fast it tracks given if I have enough followers on it.
Yeah.
So like you get a lot more ways to interact with audiences, but at the same time, like it doesn't like you're not penalized for putting out a whole project every month. Yeah. Like if anything, if you can get those placed somewhere, like that's you're benefiting from that. I'm doing this because I'm just trying to. I'm trying to shake it up. I'm bored. I'm like, all right, we got records. We're sitting on a bunch. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. And I mean, you really like rap for real too. I think Toronto rap stores like confirmed that, like with their like rappers who really like rap and all that too.
Yeah.
Like
shout out to Toronto rap stars. That's my guy.
Yeah, man. And I mean, like you had like a lot of like other stuff too, where it kind of gives like that whole like Griselda style with like the whole like underground like boom bap style, like when like it was like released like within like 2013 and more and all that too, like you know like Flatbush, like Underachievers, like even like with tracks like Be Somebody, Bloodborne, Gut Feeling, like what was like that like in terms of like the creative process and inspiration
behind all those records?
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
We could do like Be Somebody, then Bloodborne.
Be Somebody. There's a lot of people I got to shout out. My guy Leo Lotus is on that. That was produced by my engineer Tiger. Shout out to that man. Everybody knows what it is. And that was, I think. Oh, okay. So funny story. I got high again, but this was like a shroom trip. This is a very bad shroom trip, and I think afterwards for about a month, I was like really unsettled by it. But the interesting thing with shrooms is that when it comes to like thinking, I really think it improves how you go about it. Because when I was writing, things were it was just effortless. And so that was one of the records that I wrote in that time period. And so I wasn't really thinking. I was just writing how I felt. And I think for me, what I was really trying to say there is that I think sometimes, even though we care about people, if you really care about them, you can't hold them back, you know? And I think at the time I felt like I was being held back or I felt that at some point and I kind of wanted to get it out, but yeah.
Like, I mean, with Bloodborne and like Gut Feeling too, like, I guess those are like different like processes, like even like ideas like for that and all that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like dopamine, to be honest with you, I kind of just like, that was like I did it in like 15 minutes. Like I was in the studio just vibing, and then I was like, all right, let me just get this out. And I got it out and it sounded dope. So I put it out and it's doing pretty decent for itself. But yeah, a lot of the times either I'm really trying to say something in particular or I'm just having fun. It's usually one of the two. Oh. I'm not really a political person, or that's a lie. I'm not really a political person in my music. Yeah. Because I don't really think it. I don't think presenting art in that particular way yields the best results. Yeah. I know that it does help at least with exposing like younger people to ideas and concepts they might not have heard of or thought of before. So, but I'm not really. If you're thinking about something, it's something that's more interpersonal for yourself. That's really what I want people to come away with.
Yeah, no, that's facts, because I think when a lot of artists like are on their like preacher moment, like on their preacher era, when it comes to being woke, like releasing like within like a lot of like woke tracks too that speak more on like a lot of issues too, I feel like some people do get tired of it like over time and all that too, and like they want to see more of a creative like side, like in a way too. Like I could give like one example too. Like, I think with Kendrick, like when he had like To Pimp Like a Butterfly too, like I think people liked it for a while because at that era, like it's like a lot of stuff like going on too.
I don't know. People are killing him right now. Well, people were killing him, saying that the tape was a bunch of slave music,
pretty much. And then I think people started to like appreciate it like a little bit like later on too. And then that's what got him on the edge to release like Damn, which kind of had like a lot more like political stuff like in a way too here and there, but like it was more coded to the mainstream audience too, like with Humble, with Love, with I think like Loyalty and all that too, you know. So I think like that's where it got like it's more like mainstream approach, where as opposed to I think with To Pimp a Butterfly too, I think like a lot of people like couldn't really grasp the ideas as much and like listen to like other stuff too, aside from like King Kunta and like and like Alright and all that too. So
I mean I liked, that was one of my favorite projects from him, to be honest. That's just me, but I understood going into it that I would be in a minority, because that's not something that you kind of I don't think you introduce people to hip hop with that project.
Yeah.
Let's keep it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what would you like actually like introduce like people to hip hop to, like more like?
J. Cole. I think I'll go on record saying this. I've said this before. I will go on record saying this. I think J. Cole is out of the big three, I think he is the perfect person for someone to engage with hip hop with if they're new to it, because he caters to the entry level fan, I would say. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying he is entry level in terms of his complexity. I'm saying that what he creates is something that's palatable enough where if you haven't really been exposed to hip hop in that way, you'll appreciate his music a lot more. Whereas I feel like both Kendrick and Drake have a level of, well, I mean, Drake's accessible to everybody, but I think Kendrick is more of like, if you really want to think about some shit, you tap in with him. But J. Cole's perfect. J. Cole's perfect to introduce people to.
Yeah, no, that sucks. I'd say maybe Kanye or Jay-Z too. I think with Kanye too, like I think he has like a lot of records where it has like
Kanye. Yeah, Kanye is good. Kanye is definitely.
It has
good.
like more of like a euphoric feeling too. Like you could like go to like graduation with stronger flashing lights.
But I feel like with Kanye and them, like, if you don't really listen to hip hop, you probably know who he is already, because he's just he's I think he's bigger than the genre at this point.
Yeah.
So I feel like even how he conducts his, even what he produces. I mean, I guess it's hip hop, but I do think that if you wanted someone to get a real, like, okay, this is a rapper, you could go to definitely J. Cole,
Big Sean too.
Big Sean for sure. Big Sean. I would go to like Fabulous,
Lupe.
Well, Lupe's more in the lines of Kendrick, so I wouldn't. I don't play Lupe around the things. You know what I mean? Like you don't play.
Yeah. Nah, that's facts. You know, like the
Scared of Hoes music.
Yeah.
That's my favorite shit though. I'm the whole year I'm just trying to make Scared of Hoes music. I don't want no hoes near me. I'm basically married at this point. You know what I mean? So
Hundo P, man. And I mean, you've worked with like Ghostboyrj, RJ, and like the Chemist and all that too. So how'd you like guys like link to work on like No Shade and like even like Too Late for Me and all that?
I've known. Me and RJ go back a minute. Like, I've known him since he was 19. Like, he was at the Space before the Space was really the Space, if that makes sense. And so it's been dope to just see him do what he does in the scene. I think he's a pillar at this point. I think he is going to do some great things, especially with the fact of his production's dope and he can rap. So I think he's covered the two bases for me personally. Yeah. So working with him was a no-brainer. Like, we have like a whole, like, the whole project's dropping. No names yet, but it's coming. It's coming very soon. And I think we're gonna continue working together too. I think I have a couple of verses on a project that he's working on as well right now. So should be good to see.
Yeah, that's facts. And like even with the Chemist too, because I know the Chemist is like more of a renowned artist, like in terms of like
Chemist
live,
is dope.
like of like live like instrumentation and all that too. So like how was that link up like too? Because it's like hearing a Dexray like Chemist track, it's like pretty crazy like in a way to like hear it, but like it works.
We have some heaters. I can't even. I'm not even gonna say. Chemist, you know where's the camera? I'm supposed to look. Hey, Chemist, you know. Hey. Both those boys actually. Well, we got heater. I got heaters with both of them, but with Chemist, I don't even remember where I met the dude. To be honest with you, I've linked up with him multiple times at this point. We've done a lot of work together. I'm not speaking anything. I'm not gonna say anything more about that because we have some other stuff we're working on. But he's definitely got something dropping soon, and I know I got some verses on there, so I'm excited. I think with what we're doing, it's gonna put me in a different perspective. Let's say that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And like I think one thing like that I noticed like more in his like look is that he'll put like his like hat like I think under his eyes to like kinda like cover like a way to kinda like I don't know if you know like Gregory Porter and all that. He's like a jazz musician that kinda wears like a balaclava, but it's like more like a winter hat where it shows his eyes and like mouth and like nose and all that too. So like shows like the whole face too. But like with him it's like covers the eyes and it only shows like the nose and like mouth for too. So like how is that like, you know, feeling like, you know?
In terms of what? Just
like what made him decide to actually do that?
I have no idea, but I think people take inspiration from things that they find interesting or important. So I would imagine it'd be something along those lines. Me personally, I kind of stopped like really putting my full face on the internet because I don't trust what's about to come. AI and shit and whatnot. But I also think AI is going to be a fantastic tool for a lot of people. So should be cool. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, no, that's facts, man. I think earlier, like last year, or like this year too, you went to Asia actually too. So like, what was that experience like? You know,
the Philippines was fire. Had a lot of good experiences there. It was for work though. That's when I was working in security. So it was more like I had to train a whole team out there, and so I flew out for a bit. But it was cool. I want to go back for leisure though, because you know the food is cheap, weather's nice. Not the bugs are a little weird, but besides that, it was a dope experience. It was a dope experience.
Yeah, no, that's facts. Because I know there's like a lot of like good places right now. I mean, Japan's like the mecca of like Asian culture, like in a way too. I
like it.
I could definitely say like certain areas too. Like I'd say like Vietnam and like I think Thailand had like more of a nightlife experience too, but I think like what messed it up is I think like the whole like sex tourism thing like in Thailand too, where it kind of
you think it messed it up?
I wouldn't say like
that the spice to it. What you mean?
I feel like, you know, like some people too, like it's like, you know, people are just like going there just to, I mean, certain people go to like certain places just to get like nyam and all that, but then
I feel like that's everywhere though. I feel like anywhere you have somebody who has more bread, who when they go to that country it equals even more bread. Yeah. You have old people going there and they're gonna try and get some something strange for the change, bro. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Or like a lace drink, like in a way too, because like I mean you never know who you're gonna meet, but like I know Thailand has like some good stuff too, like in terms of like they have like 7-Eleven, they have like the whole like I think like Buddhism, like museums, and like you know you can ride like an elephant. They have some good islands too, so like and like beaches as well too, and China is good too, but then like the whole like social like credit system too, like
what you mean with social? Oh, you mean like the like, how they set up the for travel and stuff?
Yeah, because like when you go there, like when you like live there too, like they base off, you know, how you live and everything like that too, with how you treat others and like people and all that too. So like,
I mean, you basically have the same shit here. The only difference is like that state mandated. Like if what's the difference between the social? I mean, yeah, well, the obvious state mandated stuff, but I feel like here, like we kind of live in a panopticon, well, digital panopticon at this point, where everyone's watching each other. So it's like I think that's why even I think you see it in Gen Z too. Like when they answer their phone, for example, it's kind of like an offshoot example, but they answer their phone and they don't say anything because they assume it's a bot. So technology has like penetrated the culture so much, or just our everyday life so much, that it's definitely affecting our behavior. Yeah. And I think that when people know that they're being watched, they behave completely differently. Everybody's got a phone on them. Everybody's outside doing something and putting on something to look a certain way. Sure. So
but I feel like in a sense too, like here, like it's more forced if they see it's like problematic. Whereas like in China, you could do like one minor thing and like you know you have no access to like a house or any sort of like assistant like living to or like driving and all that. So it's like it varies, like you know, like basically it's like more of a caste system there, even though it's like not really a caste system, but like in a sense it feels,
I got what you're saying. Yeah,
like it feels like, you know, like hey, if I do something, if I fuck up, but if I do good, like it doesn't do much. It's like, you know, like paying for a credit card, like in a way to like with the idea of like credit to like, you know, if I do something like minor, like
it occurs over time. I see what you're saying.
But like if like, you know, you do something like kind of like messes up, then you have to like start all over, get like on a good scale too. With here, it's like let's say you fuck up, but like everyone has to see that you fucked up like internally. Like it's like on social media, or like they're spamming like Twitter, or like they're spamming like your manager.
If you fuck up like that, I don't know if the Chinese system's worse. To be honest, if imagine you. Who's a good example? Remember Gorilla Glue Girl?
Yeah.
Where the girl who put Gorilla Glue in her hair?
Yeah.
That was, I don't know if I'd want to be, I don't know if I'd want to fuck up that bad.
Krishan Rock too. I mean, if you like watch that whole like trilogy and all that stuff, like what's going on with her too. I mean,
Krishan, like what? What? Blueface's girl?
Blueface's ex-girlfriend.
She's a train wreck.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But that's like how social media like does you and all that too. And like, I mean, can't get a job right now, so you have to kind of be like lit, whatnot.
I think that's when AI saves everybody.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. We'll get into that, but I think that's when AI saves everybody.
True. But like if you were to go to like Asia to travel like a little bit more, like would you go to like Japan or?
Oh, for sure. I'm trying to go next year actually.
Okay.
Leo. Shout outs to Leo Lotus. Me and Leo, we was talking about it. I don't know exactly when. But I definitely want to go out there and get some stuff done.
Okay. Cool.
I want to go to a bunch of places in Asia too. I think it's dope. I think also it would behoove me to put myself, at least have some relationships out there. So when the shit hits the fan and China comes through with the choppers, you know, I have an escape route. So
or like Russia, or like if Iran starts like bombing and all that too, because that's like Western Asia too. But
I think China's the bigger threat. I think Russia has their hands full. I think Russia also has some relationships. Anyway, we're not politicking. We're not talking.
No more politics. All right. As far as your growth as an artist too, do you feel like you've grown from that start until now?
Depends on what. Yeah, I would say I've grown. I think I've also regressed in some ways. I think because you don't need to freestyle anymore, I don't find myself freestyling as much. So I'm not in top peak form when it comes to that shit. Admittedly, I'll admit that. But I think in terms of how I think about projects, how I approach them, I've definitely grown. I think I've also come up with a couple of things that in my arsenal that I can heavily rely on, and I know it'll pull through in terms of flow, in terms of how I approach subject matter, in terms of just how I present myself on records. But yeah, no, I honestly say it depends on what you're looking at, because I feel like there's sometimes I feel like really going all out in terms of lyrical ability. I think it's sort of like a moot point at this point. I don't think that's necessarily. I mean, we got kids writing lyrics with AI, so you know what I mean. It is. It's a little bit discouraging, but I think
we'll get more into that topic like in a way too. But I think when I like even when we too talk about like the people too, like I think like even like artists like Ghostboyrj, like I feel like he has the potential to be like the next like Raz, like Fresco, like in a way too, like just like on how his come up and like approaches to, and like even like when I see you too, like I see like a lot of like remnants of like other Toronto artists too, like with JD Era, with like Tona, with Atom Bomb and all that too, on like how their come up started to where, you know, it is like more focused on creating, you know, starting from like freestyling and like lyricism to creating like a full-fledged project where I think everyone's like tapped into it. So I do definitely see it like within like a lot of like pathways too, and like I mean, if it worked for those guys, it could work with like you, with Ghost, with Lowercase, with John Kabongo, Felonious, like much more, you know. So.
Yeah, shout outs. Honestly, those guys give me they give me a hope in the sense where I see like that making an I don't want to say reemergence, because I don't think it was ever something that was like a full solid scene here outside of like Raz and the Baker Club. They did phenomenal work to lay foundation in the city. And I think, honestly, I think the city dropped the ball, and I think they failed these guys, to be honest with you. But these guys, they've been pushing, they've been doing their thing. Shout out Six Letter, you know what I mean? Shout out Raz. Yeah. And I think Ghostboy is gonna be the next Ghostboy. I think Ghostboy is about to do some shit. I think he's locked in, and I think everybody within the general vicinity of that camp is solid. So always love to those guys.
Yeah, no, that's facts, man. Like I know we talked about like Kendrick and Drake for a bit too, and like, you know, I think we're like 1 year after like their alleged like situation, even though it's been several years since like 2013 with Control and all that too.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about that beef right now going on? Do you feel like it's like more so settled down to, or do you think it's gonna get a bit more messy like in a way?
I mean, they're still in court for it, no?
Yeah.
Which is insane to me, but I understand that when you get to that level, you're constantly playing a game of 3D chess. So whatever looks insane to us, it's probably because we're missing info. And so I'm not gonna jump out the side of my neck and say, yeah, nah, that was corny, because I don't have a lot of the info on my end. Yeah. And it's also way above my pay grade. So
true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because I know in a sense, if we're talking like hip hop too, like Drake taking it to court is very corny in a way too, but like in terms of like his reputation as a human being, as a man too, like I could definitely like understand it. Like,
I mean, I'll keep it a buck. I originally was like, yeah, you know, as a hip hop guy, as a real hip hop guy, you know, yeah, I didn't like that one bit. But I always have to take a step back when I'm presented with stuff like this, and I always ask myself, okay, so why would someone do that? Because you can't be in the game for as long as he has and move stupidly, right? Obviously, he's been doing this for so long. He has access to info, obviously, that we don't, and for obviously good reason. It's his case. So I think there's probably a lot of things that are happening. I think there's a lot of moves that are happening. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that I believe this helped with his deal or his negotiation with Universal, if I'm not mistaken. So clearly there's some shit that's going on behind the scenes that we have no idea about.
So I think he pushed OVO out of the whole like Warner Universal situation, like moved them to like Santa Ana, which is like I think a subsidiary like labeled to Sony and all that.
Yeah.
I know like in terms of like what's going on like behind the scenes too, because I know like he's just trying to like figure out like some ways to kind of market out like kind of put like Universal and like Kendrick like on blast for a way too, like on histories of like abuse allegations and all that sort of stuff too. So but I feel like it can vary from time to time to see like where the direction's gonna go to, because it is like a civil suit too. So basically Drake wins, you know, like he'll probably be, it's like an I told you so type thing, but like if Kendrick wins, it's like, you know, it's like beating a dead horse, like in a sense too. And
hey man, I'm just gonna say this so everyone's clear on this. I am from Mississauga, but I'm from Canada, and so I'm back in the Mandem from Toronto. Always, we always gotta big up the team Owl. Yeah. Big up the owl them so they don't, you know, swoop in. Listen, above my pay grade.
Yeah,
but
exactly
hey, listen, I was at least happy to see that battle, because that was one thing I wanted to see for a while. So
because it's like more of a popularized version of Jay-Z and Nas. Like if you like remembered, I think when Jay-Z and Nas had beef, like Jay-Z had like Takeover, Nas had I think like Stillmatic or like Ether and all that too. So like, and then Jay-Z had the super ugly like freestyle and all that too. Takeover, if you like balance it out, like if you can compare it to like, you know, like Family Matters or like even like Push-Ups and all that too, like we look at like factualities on that too, because Drake was like speaking facts like in some situations where Ether and like Not Like Us are similar, but like Not Like Us is like more.
See, hold on, because I've been hearing this narrative for a while. When the fuck did we care about facts? When did we start caring about facts in hip hop? That is never. I've seen that more recently, and I credit that to the newer generation of people and a lot of people who are just getting introduced to this shit. But we never gave a fuck about facts. Facts are great as like a garnish. Yeah. Like if it happens to be true, that's amazing. Yeah. But it's always been, yo, listen, that was just a dope bar. So I don't know where the fuck we started coming with this whole it needs to be true. That never made sense to me.
Yeah, because I think it's like more so tied to like realness and all that too. Like even like when you see like
but all of this is fake. All of this shit's fake. That's why I never like maybe it's me. I don't know, but all this shit's fake. Yeah, in my opinion. Like except for the street niggas. Shout out to them, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. So I don't really understand where that comes from, but maybe it's because hip hop has been the most pop it's ever been.
Yeah, like now it's like not at a state of like point where it is like more so within pop now, because pop and country have taken over too. Like
pop's just popular music. Yeah, so, you know.
But like in a way too, like when you like talk about like hip hop, like I think like within 2017 to like maybe around 2021, like people were like praising like hip hop, where it became like more so mainstream to a point like where it is like bigger than
that's when it died.
But then like now it's like other genres are kind of taking over like in a way too, and like I think that's like something for another day too, and I think it's like self-explanatory too, but I think it's like more so on like the demand for it and like what they see, because they're seeing like what the other artists are doing right now. It is like kind of same and stale like in a way too, but there are like contrasting factors where you see like other artists like putting other forms of work that kind of bring that hype and joy back. With, like Larry June, Alfredo, like Clips, like even Ghostface and like Nas and all that too. Like they're doing like their whole thing, and it is like interesting to see what they're doing because it's like way different from what it is like like now and all that too. But like even like before too, like these artists were still doing the same thing too, like in 2015 to trying to do like something different too, with Ghostface working with like Bad Bad Not Good and all that too. Artists like using like orchestrations to giving like the best like live project in a way too, and like even artists like kind of doing like like AI or autotune and all that type of stuff. And it's like history from like time to time and all that too. And like I think I want to like hold this off on like the next like couple questions for a bit, but it's just like how hip hop has like changed over time, so
I think but I think fundamentally a large part of what hip hop was something that provided a voice to people in the underground. The minute it became mainstream, it stopped being that. So it functions differently because of that as a result.
That's excellent. To kind of end off like the whole like Kendrick thing and all that too, do you think it's okay to bump Kendrick or TDE in Toronto for 2025 and afterwards?
Listen, I am from Canada. Big up the Owl them. That's all I'm gonna say. It's above my pay grade. It's above my pay grade. I know some people who went to that concert. Hey, I'm from Canada.
Yeah. And I mean, Mucho, I think from like Relentless Diaries, like caught out a DJ for playing Kendrick and all that too, and like kind of changed like the whole discussion. And we rep the Owl, so
we rep the. Hey, listen. All I'll say though is that is a that record. That is a crazy record. Because when that kind of for me, when I heard that and it's playing, like just readily playing, that told me where we were. Yeah. Like in terms of the time we're in now, that told me where we were, where a man could just say that and like nothing happens. Yeah. Like the most that'll happen is like maybe a back and forth on Twitter or some shit. But I mean, now it's a lawsuit, but whatever.
But it led to like Rick Ross like getting beat up, Schoolboy Q, and like Sir getting the shows like canceled.
Schoolboy Q got beat up?
No, Schoolboy Q's show got canceled, and I think Sir's show got canceled, but then he came back like this year and all that too. At a different venue, but like
it's Game of Thrones, brother. Like
pretty much.
Like what did you think was gonna happen? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, pretty much. As far as like bars and all that too, do you think it's like does it still like matter today? Like I know like Alfredo 2 dropped.
Do bars matter?
Do bars still matter?
Fuck no, no, not at all. Like and that's kind of where like where I'm at. I think that they'll always matter to people who care about them. Yeah. I think the people who really are listening to songs and they're trying to come away with something from that record rather than project their own feelings onto something to make them feel better. Absolutely, bars matter. When it comes to like anything metrics or anything, when it comes to just sales or when it comes to being in a conversation, no, they don't. And I think the fans have made it abundantly clear they don't give a fuck about that shit. Now, obviously, hip hop fans do, but I mean, I'm splitting hairs. So
true. And I mean, like, it depends on some people too. So, like, maybe they want to see it, but more in a watered down way. Like when you hear, like Megan, or when you hear like Kendrick or J. Cole and all that, like more of a watered down feeling. But like when it comes to like going into like the deep dive too with like the Clips project and Alfredo 2 and like JPEG and like Danny Brown and all that too, I think that's when you get like the whole core fan base that actually like analyze it to a T and understand like what they mean and all that too. So like I feel like it depends like on the moment and like where it is right now too.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, and I agree with you. I'm just pointing out that audience has always been very small. It's never been the majority. Yeah. I think maybe it at one point was the majority in terms of hip hop, but I think due to hip hop becoming so mainstream, it hasn't been that for quite some time. Yeah. And then also like what people define as bars now also is questionable. Yeah. A lot of the meme rap, you would see a lot of comments on bars underneath. They're joking, but
or like like how they try to like fast pace it too, because now I think like people do say it's like sometimes too, like they say like Big X or like the Mexican OT are like the best like lyrical rappers, but they're just trying to like they like some people say that too because of like how they rap and all that, but it's just more so flow and like how they present it like in a way too. But
Yeah.
it's like the same.
They're dope though.
Yeah,
They're dope.
they're dope, but I feel like it's like the same like realistic style too that you see from like other contemporaries like Free Six, Migos, like friggin' even like some down south stuff like Some Plug, Paul Wall, like all that type of stuff too. It all depends on the occasion and like how certain like listeners feel because like for a listener like outside that only like listens to like hip hop like once in a while too, they'll say it's like bars, but for us it's like okay, it's just what we've heard like before from other artists, so.
I think also like once you get past a certain age, it's kind of like I feel like you've heard everything, and I don't think that's like the default like where you end up eventually. I think maybe that's because of I don't know like life experiences. Maybe people interact with the music differently because of where they've been or what they've been doing or some shit. But I think the Overton window, like how we describe in terms of just hip hop and what we think is acceptable and what's not, I think that has shifted very far. And I think that we'll see little glimpses of what it used to be, but I don't think it's going back. Like, I think unless like you have people who are just fed up with I don't think it's going back anytime soon. I think music is cyclical, so it will get back to that eventually, and I think it's going there slowly, but I don't think anytime soon.
I think it's like going for like different trends and like what they see like before. Like now we're in a futuristic Atlanta phase, so like,
futuristic Atlanta.
That's gonna be like
that's the phase we're in.
Yeah, I mean Metro Boomin just dropped a futuristic like project. Like there's like a lot of younger artists that are kind of like doing it that way too. Like,
yo, how long has Atlanta hold the torch for? It's been a minute now.
I'd say
since
like
2012.
Usher, like with like Yeah and all that.
Yeah.
Because like when you hear like Usher with like Yeah and all that, and like Outkast with Hey Ya, then it goes to Jeezy, then it goes to Gucci, then it goes to like the ringtone rappers, and then it goes.
And that was all the South. Yeah, that was all.
And then it goes to like other because like Houston was like popular at one point too. Like it was like the main mecca of Miami, and then that like kind of died down too with like maybe a couple artists that kind of did their own thing. But then like Atlanta like kind of had their own thing too with Jock and like Gorilla Zoe, and then it led to other people like popping like YC, Future, Gucci, Waka, and then Migos and Young Thug, 21, and then now you see all this like type of stuff too. And now it's like they want other artists in the South to kind of do the whole like Atlanta thing too, even though like Atlanta like took it from like Houston and Memphis and like North Carolina and like even like Florida too, so it's like yeah, but like that's the way. If that's the way. If niggas want to listen to like Atlanta stuff, like they want to listen to Atlanta stuff.
I think, yeah, but I also think a lot of what that was back then was like powers that be, because the internet was a thing, yeah, but radio still had an influence and people still have clout, so they were still able to make certain moves work and not. And so I think now, with like the internet really being where it's at and how niche everything is, I think we're gonna start. I think first of all, it's the death of celebrity. Like I don't think we're seeing megastars ever again. I think Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole are the last megastar, because celebrity isn't just commodified. It's been decentralized.
Yeah.
And so now anybody with an internet connection, if you get off the right picture or right video or record, or you got that one little snippet in your phone and it gets the right amount of clicks, you're gonna go viral.
Exactly. No.
So I think that's going to have a heavy effect. I think we might even start seeing the return of regional sounds and regional slang.
Yeah, I think that's what like a lot of people want to see, because like now it's like Memphis is making a comeback. I think Detroit has been making a comeback. Like North, like California and all that, Chicago. Like we do see it, and like there are like fan bases for it that want that back too, and like we do see like in a way too. Like even like Atlanta's going back to like that regional route too. Texas, it's been doing its like own thing too, and I think we're seeing it now in Toronto, with like Sav and like all these like other people that are kind of like doing their thing, like with the whole like Toronto accent and all that. And hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, But I think like nowadays too, it all depends on like what like the big free wants and like what the contemporaries like want to, like with like Fug and like 21, all these like other people too. So
I think it's a mix. I mean, yeah, once you get to a certain height in your career, I think the rules are a bit different. But I think for the rest of us mortals down here, You have that the regional sound is something that I think has eroded for a while. I think at some point we'll get back to it. I don't know how though, because even now we have a lot of people who sound like a lot of people who don't live where you would think they would live, and that's all because of the internet. If we keep it a buck, like that's because everyone has access to everybody. So slang is all this. Even slang is progressing slower because of just how open everything is.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't know, but I think we get there eventually. I think media is very important for that, like places like this, because that's truly what becomes more local, or at least you have more of a leverage there if you decide to tap into it being more local.
Yeah, no, that's facts, man.
Yeah.
And to kind of shift gears like a little bit to King of the Hill, like they just like had like the new season on Hulu that's been like up on like all like platforms too. So how do you feel about like the new season right now? Like I know it's like very different from what they had. Like
haven't watched it. I saw some clips. I saw it was funny. That boy Bobby's hilarious. But I'm watching, what am I watching right now? I'm watching, I think it's Lord of Knowledge or some anime. I'm in a couple animes right now. That's pretty much preoccupying what I'm watching. I think the new Wednesday Addams series just dropped.
Yeah.
That's a guilty pleasure.
True.
Because I fuck with the Addams family like heavy. So that's something I've been watching, but like, man, outside of that, I haven't really been watching a lot of shows. Like whatever, I think really I get sidetracked a lot when I'm working on projects.
Yeah.
So I kind of I'll wake up, I'll be, I don't know, whatever I'm doing. And
sure. Yeah, like for me, like I actually just finished season 2 of like Godfather, like Harlem and all that too. I'd say it's like a good watch to like. Just,
I heard it was good too.
Yeah, I know like Forrest Whitaker like did his thing too, and then there are like a lot of like actors, like I think Vincent D'Onofrio, who he actually played the crazy guy, like the crazy fat guy on like Full Metal Jacket too. Like he did a phenomenal like role on that, like on the new role of like Godfather of like Harlem 2. I know I think Rome Flynn is like on like the later seasons, so I haven't like checked those seasons out too, which is like season 3 and 4. But you do have like a lot of other people too, like Giancarlo Esposito like doing this like thing too. There's Elvis Nolasco who was like on Clockers like at one point, that played an extraordinary like role on Godfather for like Harlem 2. You've had like Method Man, ASAP Ferg at like 1.2 like in one.
I've heard the cast is stacked. I've been watching Severance though. I've been watching that.
True.
Yeah, I fuck with Severance.
About to watch True Detective as well too. Like I know like
the old show,
huh?
Like True Detective, like the old,
like more like the new seasons too. Like I think like on HBO and all that, where it's like I think it's like every season's like very different too. Like I heard like every season's like different, but like that's what a comedian like told me like on how like it's like very gory and like very different. So about to check that out too. And like I've seen like some cartoons like here and there too for boredom. About to probably like watch like Snowfall like next too. Like
you haven't watched Snowfall?
I've not. I've seen like the clips.
Shit.
But
oh shit, yo! I wish I could watch Snowfall again, man. That was a good show.
Yeah, true. Because I think
he didn't deserve none of that. I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but he didn't deserve. Well, he did, but he didn't, man. He didn't. You know. True. Shout out Franklin. Shout out Franklin.
Nah, that's facts, man. Nah, gotta check out Snowfall too. I've seen like some of the shows too, like Orange is the New Black and like
Orange is cool.
Yeah,
Orange is cool.
Yeah.
After I really stopped watching after Poussey died. Like that's it wasn't for me after that.
But yeah, like I think you didn't miss much with the other seasons with Orange is the New Black. But I think I know Dear White People's like also like very dope too. If you watch like the series, like because
which show?
Dear White People.
Dear White People. Nah, yo, I have this thing where it's like when people are trying to overtly be like, yo, like black people, white people, I'm immediately turned off.
Yeah, true. But it is like very comedic in a way too. And I think they started to like latch off from like what it was like on the movie too, because I think in the movie, like it was like kind of like very obvious too, but like in the later seasons of like Dear White People, like it feels like very like different too, where it's like more like a quest, kind of like On My Block too, but like
that was that series where like the girl, it was like one of the girls is a protagonist, whatever.
like I think the like I think
She's like biracial or some shit.
biracial and all that too, and like I think all the other people are like on a quest and all that too. But like with on my blog too, like I think it has like changed like over time too, and like I think they even had to cut like one of the girls off like on season 1 because I think they found out she was like a little racist, a Trump supporter type thing.
I mean, just because you a Trump supporter doesn't mean you racist.
But that's what they're correlating right now too with that girl, Roni Hawk. But yeah, I heard all my blogs like pretty good if people haven't like watched it and all that too. Dear White People's like also very good too. I know Giancarlo Esposito was also, I think the last couple seasons and all that too. Like he did his like thing too, because if you look at him outside of like, Breaking Bad and like friggin' what's that movie called with like Spike Lee? Do the right thing and all that.
Thing,
yeah. Like he can actually.
Oh, is that Gus Freeman?
Gus Freeman?
Oh yeah, phenomenal actor.
Yeah, because
phenomenal actor. Yeah,
he can like definitely like do his like thing too. Like when it comes to like acting too, like he could do like the accent, but then he'll do other roles. Like he was even on friggin' The Get Down and all that too. He was I think
The Get Down was dope.
He was like I think the preacher, like the girl's like preacher father and all that too.
Yeah.
But he did his like thing on that. He could act. Like I could definitely say, and he's like half black, half Italian. So it's amazing to see that you could like portray like many different like races. And
I honestly thought he was Mexican. I thought he was like some sort of Hispanic.
Like Puerto Rican. No, he's actually black and Italian. Shit. I think his like mom is from Italy and all that, and like I think his dad's from the States.
He carries it very well.
Yeah. So I think like Italians have that whole like Latin culture like in a way too.
Yeah.
Where they do kind of express like more like Spanish and like Portuguese like undertones too, like when they speak in a sense too, because it's like a romantic like language and all that too, like with Latin and all that. So
yeah,
it goes like either way, to kind of get more onto like AI and all that too. Like we talked about it with Baby Chief DeWitt, who's like the rapper, like the young kid that used like AI to like write the lyrics and all that.
Also, it's shit, by the way. I like where it's currently at. It's not very creative. Within the respects to the art form.
Yeah. I think it's like good for within the whole like, releasing area with like releasing content, all that sort of stuff. So you could do like a 30-day calendar on like releases and maybe some songwriting too, but it all depends.
Oh no, it's eventually gonna be amazing at songwriting. I just think it's shit right now. Like it's not usable.
Yeah.
If it gets to that point, I'm definitely using it. Yeah. Fuck. I think artists have this very weird relationship with AI, and I understand because it's something that could potentially take your livelihood. But I also think that we're looking at it like a lot of takes that I've seen on AI online. I think their heart's in the right place. I just don't think they're really taking in what's happening. Yeah. This is kind of like, this is worse than when streaming hit, like, or when MP3s hit music. And like, you can't ignore this. This isn't going away. But I think it gives a lot of artists opportunities because I now can release a reggaeton album. I don't need to speak Spanish. I can make a whole persona, a whole separate person, complete AI. I have the rights to it and write whatever records I want. Yeah. So I think it gives us I think it gives us superpowers, but it kind of depends on how you use it.
Depends on the situation. I mean, with some people they use it as like a clutch too. I was at B Cave just some weeks back, and like I remember going into like one of the rooms too, and like there's like a producer, and I thought like he was using AI within the stuff too, but like it's like a thesaurus like type thing where like for songwriting too they use like the laptop, like figure out like words on like how to like kind of like do like rhymes, like all that type of stuff too, or like with pop, with like rap, all that type of stuff. And it is like AI in a way too, but it's like more like a fact finder on how to place the word too. But like even stuff like that can slowly turn into like more of an automated process where they create like the lyrics for you, or they create like undertones.
I see that as a potentiality. I don't think, like, when I look at AI, it doesn't to me scream like, oh my God, replacement. Yeah. This screams, oh my God, I'm replacing the lowest common denominator, which would be like doo-doo artists. Yeah. And what I mean by that is like, if you are easily replaced by AI, what does that tell you about what you're able to do, right?
And I think like some artists and like even like other people like in the industry have I think a fascination with it where it becomes like sort of like cringy and all that too. Like I think Capitol Records 10K Projects try to do that with this guy named FN Mecca, who was like an AI process, and they did a song called like Florida Water with Gunna, and everyone hated that song and all that too. And I think they just stopped doing that. And then Timbaland, like now he's getting like a lot of flack now for using AI to
Serves him
incorporate.
right.
And like I think like it kind of like ruined his like legacy for a bit too, where he had like these like sessions and all that too, like these like paid sessions where people were paying him to review music and all that other bullshit, and then he's using AI for his like label and all that. And
Hey, listen, I get it. Believe me, I understand, because like it's a whole existential crisis thing. I think it's even forget art. This is going to be something that changes humanity. Period.
Yeah.
We're not running away from it. There's nothing you can do. And the sooner people accept that this is going to be a thing, the better off they're going to be.
Yeah.
I think that if you're a competent artist, AI is an enhancement, full stop.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to be able to create whatever art piece you want with AI that's going to be something that's good.
Because it's like more like modifications. Like even some people use like modifications with AI to use like different voices too. Like if you see like TikTok, there's like this like little game thing where they put the balls in, but then like they use like a certain song, like a certain popular song, and they have like different artists. Like I think like one like goes first, and then like it changes to like the next person, and it becomes like cringy rather than something that seems like interesting and something that could like work and all that too. Even this guy named I think Trife Drew like even does that with some songs where he has his own song, but like he'll pretend to be Future, or he pretends to be Little Baby or Gunna or Nav, and like make it like work and all that too.
I think all of this is still in the infancy stage.
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists, they're still thinking too small.
Yeah.
Like, what stops somebody from making their own label with 7 different artists, and they're all 7 different artists?
Yeah.
They just write and then have AI enhance or change it. Yeah. Nothing, right? I think with not just with AI like music, but with AI agents and with a lot of the new technology that you'll probably be seeing in the next 2-3 years, especially crypto. Yeah. I think you create the opportunity for someone to be able to really take their career to the next level. And the beautiful part about it is they can be completely anonymous. They don't even have to actually be front facing with their work. So I think like if artists really put their thinking caps on, like they really start looking at what's in front of them, they'll stop freaking out about like things that don't really fucking matter when it comes down to it. Like I get you, like the whole integrity and art that never. Let's keep it a buck. Nobody ever gave. There was no integrity, none of that shit from majority of these people making this stuff. Yeah. Let's keep it a buck. People are afraid of being replaced. I get it. But you either do or die. It's one of the two.
It's like Canis Canem, like at a dog world.
Yeah, so. Brother. We existed in that regardless of AI. Yeah. Like I still have to. We're competing with everyone constantly because of the internet, right? So that doesn't. It don't change much for me. Either I'm dealing with somebody who's a person or someone who's a robot. It's the same shit. It's still comp.
Yeah, exactly. It's like fan or op type situation.
They're both ops. It's just like it's like they're both.
Yeah, man,
you know.
Yo, Timbaland, have you lost like respect for him since?
Not at all. Not at all. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm sure that. I think his approach was. I think he had an approach that probably wasn't the best. I think he thought this would go a certain way, and it went left, and he's trying to like do PR like to save face. But I don't think what he did was inherently wrong. I don't like if it wasn't he's. I think if it wasn't that artist to be the next artist that he trained his models off of after. I just think that scratch that. I think that. If he's doing it without telling these artists they're going to be used for that, then that's kind of messed up because you at least need to give them the knowledge that they're consenting to this. But if it was the case where these people just weren't reading the contract, then I don't go for it.
I mean, like it has like even with him, like I know there were like some speculations on like even like with some of the stuff he worked on with other artists. Like he had another guy named I think Danja that even produced like the beats that a lot of people claim that he might have like produced and all that too. So there have been like a lot of like.
Isn't he an executive producer though?
I think so too. Yeah, but
So like even with Timberland's team, like he has a team of producers who produce, and then he just arranges it. Like
just like DJ Khaled,
which is like Drake.
Yeah,
like well,
pretty
I'm
much.
I'm not saying that Drake is a producer or he.
Yeah.
I'm saying that I think a lot of the times when fans they're discussing these things, there's a lot of context they don't have, and so they end up leaving with an opinion that's based on things that aren't factual.
Yeah.
Drake's a great example because people still think he doesn't write his music, and it's like you guys are chops. Like, of course, he's one of the best songwriters of this generation. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
that's facts. I mean, what happens happens either way too. Like even with music, and I think whatever changes over time, we just have to wait and see. So
I think it becomes super super niche over time. I think it becomes real. I think it's like you're gonna be talking to kids, and you're not have any idea who any of these people are, and I think that becomes a neighborhood thing. But I don't know because we have the internet. I think as blockchain becomes more mainstream and then things are put on that public ledger, I think you're going to start seeing more use cases of Bluetooth technology. I think you're going to have a lot more people trying to be off the grid in that way. But yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Let's hope shit gets better. But
yeah, no, that's facts, man. As far as mental health too, I think it's something that I'm trying to talk more about now and all that too.
Mm-hmm.
And as an artist, and especially as a human being, how do you deal with your mental health as a person in your position? Even with everything going on in life, do you feel like it's overwhelming, or do you feel like you can mitigate it over time with a lot of stuff?
How much time you got? I mean, it really depends. I think majority of the online conversations about mental health is bullshit. I think most people don't give a fuck. I think even how people approach the conversation of mental health, you can tell it's bullshit because they start with, well, we need to make sure we're being positive, and we need to make sure that people are thinking in positive thoughts. And I don't think that is healthy. I think if you're pretending life is just one big game of positivity and shit, and nothing bad happens, and we don't have you're not teaching people how to cope. You're teaching people how to lie to themselves. And I think that's majority of what mental health conversations online are about. So I haven't really leaned into much of those spaces, to be honest. But I think with me, I think part of how I deal with things is I'm just brutally honest with myself. Yeah. And I think I'm so brutally honest with myself because I realize and recognize that most people are bullshitting you, and they're trying to keep you in this space of, hey, let's be positive and shit. But it's empty. It doesn't have any depth to it. And I'd much rather be told an uncomfortable truth than a pretty lie any day.
Yeah, no, that's facts, because it's easy to fake a lifestyle, or even fake, showing that, you're actually happy and all that too. But it's hard to kind of cover.
Well, because then what happens after the happy? How do we deal with you were clearly depressed for a reason. Me telling you to lie to yourself, my bad. Yeah, me telling you to lie to yourself about you being happy. How does that fix your problem?
Yeah.
I think if anything, social media has made people more mentally weak because that's all we've been peddling for the last decade. True. And I think the only way you really deal with problems is you have to mentally fortify yourself to the realities of the world. You need to understand that shit gets hard, and you either get hard with it or you get run over by it. It's one of the two.
And it's Irvin Goffman's theory too, on the whole front and back personality. When you show through the front, you're this person that's active, doesn't care, that's nonchalant, but in the back, when you go home, when you're by yourself too, that nothing's all good and all that too, nothing is at a point where you want to be, so you try to cope it in other ways. So when we see it with 85% of Hollywood, the music industry, almost everyone in general too, anyone that's a human being, or anyone that's a public personality too.
I think it's very interesting because I think with social media and technology, we've gotten really good at making putting that mask up and being good with our appearances. So much so that the appearance is something we strive for rather than the other way around. We don't. But I think that what you're going to see in the next couple of years because of technology, it's going to be a complete reversal. Because what happens when you take someone's livelihood? You have to start asking yourself questions. I think when people think about even their perspective on life, most of the approaches is what makes me happy. And I think that's why most people are miserable.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they assume that happiness is the end all be all.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then you should just do heroin.
Dude.
Go shoot up, because you'd be happy regardless. But life is, I don't think life is about happiness. I think life is about purpose, and people, when they say happy, what they really mean is fulfilled. They just they lack the language for it.
Exactly. So it's like, you see it in Hollywood, you see it in the Upper East Side, you see it in Liberty Village, Yorkville too. Like, people are just putting a front, and now it's just, you just figure out like how to work until like it all like crumbles down and all that too. And
I mean, you fake the funk with everybody. That's really what it comes down to. You just gotta pretend with everybody. I think that's what adulthood is. Adulthood is just full-time pretending.
Pretty much. Like, I couldn't agree more, like, in a way too. And I think whatever works, whatever makes you happy, like, make that be happy. Other than that,
nah, I don't even. It should be, if the thing is making you happy, great. But happiness is not the end all be all. Happiness is the side. Happiness is it's a side effect. It is the perk to the actual goal or task at hand, and that task is whatever you choose to be as a person. But you need to have something that, in pursuit of that thing, the process will make you better. You need something like that. I think that's what people are really saying or missing when they say they want to be happy. You don't want to be. Nobody wants to be happy. Happy. That's like me saying I want to be angry. Yeah. It's a fleeting emotion that comes and goes and is really dependent on the situation. But the feeling of fulfillment and feeling as if you've pushed yourself to attain something that made you really sweat and bleed for it, that's something no one can take from you. And that fortifies you and strengthens you as a human being, as a person. Yeah,
that's facts. No, I definitely like agree too. And I know we just only have like a couple topics like left too and all that. But do you have any regrets in your life overall, or you regret nothing?
Regrets? Regrets. Niggas regret me. Nah, I don't have any. I for sure, I have like a 1 or 2 regret, but I think that's good, because that means that I've grown as a person. Like, I look back and realize that the decision that I made in the past was not something I would make now, and that's why I regret it. So I don't really regret it, because I understand that I was a different person at the time. But yeah, there's things I could look back that I'm not proud of. Yeah. I don't think myself as a good person by any means. And I think that is because I think when people assume that they're a good person, that means the work is done. Like, they just, and I'm constantly trying to be better as a person. And so I can't really say I'm a good person because I'm not there yet. Yeah. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, no, that's facts. And I mean, it all like depends on like how you want to like heal and like cope with it too. Like, I know with like healing,
I don't think healing's a thing.
You don't think healing's?
I don't think because what are you saying when you heal? Like okay, when you break a bone, for example, right, and it heals, is the bone as strong as it was before it broke?
It's not the same too. Like, even like when you have a scar on your arm, like, it's gonna be permanent. Like, it's a permanent scar forever. It's not like.
So then, what's healing?
I feel like when people talk about like healing, it's like you're changing your traumas, or you're just improving what you're doing through other formats like therapy and all that too.
I'll throw a curveball at you. If trauma is bad, why do we experience it?
I think to help us like grow like within that situation too, because I know we have to grow like in one way or form. Like, not everything's, as you said, like, not everything's gonna be like rainbows and sunshine, all that other bullshit. It's like you're gonna deal with like rain, you're gonna deal with snow, you're gonna dealing with pain from the heat, from the cold.
But I agree with you though. I think trauma is a way we keep track of what's painful, and I think as we grow, we learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, true. And like, even like some people too, they'll say like, hey, therapy's a scam and all that too. Like, and maybe it might be, maybe
it's not a scam. I think it's a scam if you don't lie to yourself. Because then you're going to end up doing the same work anyways that therapy would have taken you through. And you're going to end up at the same conclusion. Like, there's only, like, logic isn't kung fu. There's only, it's not like there's flavors of logic is logic. So you're going to end up at that point regardless.
Yeah, true. It's just, making sure, like, what can you, like, improve from that situation.
For sure.
And if it works, it works. If
it doesn't, it does. But I think the problem is, I think a lot of people want the burden of having to save themselves pushed onto other people, so they'll pay for it. They'll be like, hey, look, I gotta go to therapy. It's like, you could have, like, the same shit that nigga's telling you. We have we're in an age where education has been completely decentralized.
Exactly.
I don't need to go to a university to learn something. I can just pull up ChatGPT if I do it carefully enough, obviously, because you can't use it as an end all be all, but like we're at a point where you can really learn anything you want to learn now. So the fact that people go to therapy is, I think, telling. Maybe they don't want to do some things learning of themselves, you know?
Because like even like some people too, they'll say fuck therapy. I'm gonna preach off like the 48 laws of power. I'm gonna preach off friggin' rich dad poor dad. Friggin' the subtle art of like not giving a fuck. Any Ryan, like I think Mason book, all that type of shit. Like I think I fucked up his like name too, but like any Ryan book.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, hey, I don't need to go to therapy. I have all these at home. If this could heal me, this could heal me. But you know,
I think you know what the litmus test is for me when people and for people who are like, I think there's levels to people.
Yeah.
And I think a good level to be at is recognizing you need therapy. The next step to that is going through nihilism. Yeah. It's experiencing that full-fledged, and you have to come out on the other end of that. And I think a lot of people, when they hear that word, they think of negativity, which is, I mean, but they also think that like you want to stay away from it. And I think that nihilism is the first step for a person actually becoming themselves, like really, truly stepping into themselves. And I think until you reach the point where you ask yourself, why does anything matter? And seriously, not just as a way to pass time or as a way to kind of make yourself feel a little panicky, you genuinely and seriously engage with that question, and you come out on the other side of that, you'll be that's therapy. That's
exactly therapy. Yeah, no, that's excellent. Do you have any like closing remarks you want to say, like in terms of the project, in terms of any other stuff going on?
Projects coming out this month, 31st of this month. I'm not giving no names for it yet, but it's gonna be out soon. Project after that's coming out next, the following month after that. It's a sequel to I Got Away with Dying. It's called Nevermind, I'm Dead. And the project coming after that, I don't want to name either, but there's a lot of projects coming out this year. And yeah, just stay tuned. Just check out the Spotify. Be on there every month. There's gonna be something new for you, whether it's a song or a video or whatever the case may be.
And like live shows and like
live shows we're getting back into slowly. I have some stuff in the works that we're trying to set up right now. A lot of live instrumentation. It's gonna be for one of the projects I'm putting out. So I'm excited because it's gonna be something fun to shop around. But nothing concrete right now. So I don't want to give too much.